met in Carbondale, and it's funny how Justine mentioned before that she thought that Geoff had gotten to Carbondale years ahead of her because he seemed to know everybody, but doing the math just now, I realized that I was in Carbondale for probably 2 years before Geoff showed up, and I didn't know anybody until he started showing me around. Do you know Skip? You don't know Skip? Do you know this? You don't know him? So, you know, that was Geoff. Everybody knows he had really great qualities. And I just wanted to share a quick story that really, I think, illustrates his vision and what he was trying to do. In his life, everybody knows that he loved a good time, and he liked to be the guy that organized the good time to get everybody together. And he had this strange interest in real estate, which wasn't so much about possession or owning something, but I think he could see the possibilities in every, he'd look at a house and think, what you could do here or there, have a party or put a swing in there. I mean, that's just the way I think he thought about places. Anyway, this interesting story, like I say, Geoff was never afraid to talk to anybody, old or young, didn't matter who you were, and he always tried to find out, what was going on in the community so that he could kind of fill in the blanks and get people together. Well, at this point in time in Carbondale, he had this interest in the Oddfellows building, which was interesting. I mean, you'd see him kind of light up when he had this idea, like people say he schemed. Well, as it so happened in Carbondale, all the Oddfellows had died out. And the Rebeccas, the sister lodge, had kind of taken over, and they were taking care of this building. They had a thrift store on the first floor, and they'd have, I think, maybe tea socials on the upstairs. And to Geoff, I could tell it seemed a shame that there were no Oddfellows, and maybe it was because the group of friends that we had were kind of odd fellows in our own way. He thought that it should be reclaimed and brought back for a men's social club. And to that end, and I believe, Mark, were you involved? Okay, so you can fill in the blanks. Mark Wolf is here. But anyhow, him and Mike Cham is another great friend. I was really glad to know these guys at this special time. They took it upon themselves to meet Oddfellows in Glenwood. I think they came to Delta to meet with the Oddfellows and sell their idea that they wanted to start up the Carbondale Oddfellows again. And, I mean, to this day, I still don't know how much of it was just, it was interesting and fun and just so damn strange that he had to do it. But he succeeded in convincing all these old men and Oddfellows that he was earnest, and actually 3 or 4 guys from Carbondale were inducted into the Oddfellows, and they started paying dues, and well, I mean, they did it. To make a long story short, it was kind of like Animal House. I think the Rebeccas knew that we had questionable intentions. I say we, even though I wasn't involved, but I kind of had a front row seat because these guys were my good friends, and they just had a hilarious time telling all the stories about what it meant to be an Oddfellow, the secret rituals, and what they had to go through to get in there. So anyhow, it's kind of like Animal House. Like, we knew they're going to bust us no matter what we do, so we might as well have one good party, right? So as soon as they got the keys to the upstairs, we had a big Saturday night kegger, and, a lot of spilt beer and good times and cigarettes smoked later. Pretty much blew the lid off that whole scheme, but it was such a great time, even for that one night, and it was kind of a dream come true for Geoff and a lot of the guys. And needless to say, the next day the Rebeccas changed all the locks on the building and pretty much kicked the boys out of the Oddfellows. So, but I just thought that really illustrated Geoff's take on life, and he definitely expanded your ideas of what could be possible. He was a big dreamer. And he wasn't afraid to put himself on the line, so that was good times.